Hey everybody, it's Isaac here, back with another video. Today's video, I just wanted to kind of make a short informational video talking about this very popular debate on Nitro Type, and it's grinding versus improving. So like, more than half, but around half of the people in the community think that improving your words per minute is the best trait you want to look for in a typist. The other half thinks that activity is the best trait you can look for in a typist. And a lot of people are stuck in the middle, right? Like, you might admire someone's account because they have an average of 150, but they're not very active. Or you might admire someone's account who average might be like 40 words per minute, but maybe they have done hundreds of thousands of races. Today I just kind of wanted to clear up some misconceptions and talk about both. So the first thing we're going to talk about is grinding, because obviously that is the more popular strategy. As you can see, most grinders are pretty active. I am not a grinder. I do like 50 to 70 races a day, which is not considered active. That's considered normal. And then you have the people that do like 20 races a day. And then you have the people that do 100 races a day or more. So what's considered grinding? I would say at least 150 races a day. Maybe even 100. 100 races a day I would consider soft grinding. 200 plus I would consider medium grinding, and anything above 300 probably would be a hard grinder. So someone who's doing a lot of races, maybe not prioritizing their words per minute, prioritizing their accuracy to get more races done. Now, obviously, I'm not talking about botters who will go like 200 words per minute all day. I'm talking about legitimate grinders, and there are a decent amount of legitimate grinders. I know a lot of people in the community automatically assume that just because you're active, you're not a grinder. They just assume that as long as you're an active player, you might be a botter. And although that is unfortunately typically correct, there are some legitimate grinders. There have been people who've done thousands and thousands of race sessions, and they've been legitimate, and it's very hard. One of the biggest things about grinding that people warn you about is your health. Because if you could injure your hands, you could injure your wrists, you can end up putting yourself in a pretty bad position, which is why I never encourage grinding. I would say if you want to improve your words per minute and still get a decent amount of racing done, I wouldn't do any more than 100 races a day. I've actually tried doing 100 races a day consistently, and my accuracy and my words per minute fell apart because I just couldn't keep up that rapid pace. But if you're going to be a grinder, I do have some simple tips for you, and even though I don't recommend grinding, if you're the type of person that wants to grind anyway, then that's your decision, not mine. But I would recommend listening to something that will help you focus, finding a keyboard that isn't going to hurt your hands, and I would recommend I cannot talk today. And I would recommend sandbagging because that will make sure that you don't get injured. And of course, if you start feeling physical pain in your hands or wrists or arms or back or anywhere for that matter, just stop. Take a break, reevaluate grinding, maybe go do something else. There's always something better to do. And then now we're going to talk about improving. And I know we didn't talk about grinding for very long, but that's basically you sit down, do lots of racing. There's not much to it. So now improving. Improving, I would say for maximum improvement, I would do at least 30 races a day. I used to do that all the time back before my internet plan had unlimited data, and we were hardly given any data on our internet plan. Because of that, I could only do about 30 races a day, and then I had to get off. But now we have unlimited internet, and we can use as much data as we like. I think there is a limit somewhere, but that's not the point. The point is, I would recommend doing at least 30 races a day. If you have more time, I would highly recommend doing 50 a day. And when I say improving, when I say 50 races a day, I would try to not quit any races. I know a lot of people do, including myself. I am not a race selector, meaning it's like a race selector would be someone who quits every race that doesn't go well. I only quit races when they're like 110 or below, because at that point either the race started late or my computer lagged or I just messed something up and I just don't do those races. Because in real life, when you're typing, you're going to have the option to stop and hit backspace. Nitro Type, the equivalent to that would be reloading the page. Now, I would recommend focusing on your accuracy before you focus on your words per minute. That is a mistake that I made the mistake of not focusing on my accuracy. I just focused on my words per minute, and because of that, I'm not the most amazingly accurate typist. Now, I am more accurate in real life when I'm typing. For instance, if I'm typing an essay, I will be more accurate because the words are coming from my brain instead of my hands having to like read something on the screen and then type it, it'll just come straight from my brain, and I'm typically much more accurate. And that's basically the main points for improving your words per minute. However, I would also recommend not doing more than 100 races a day unless you're very consistent or you have very good endurance. I don't have the greatest endurance. I have never done a big session. My biggest session is 150 races. And, I average about 125 words per minute, maybe 130 on a good day, but I never really average above 130. So, this advice is coming from someone who's decently fast, not crazy fast or anything. But I would recommend not doing anything more than 100 races a day, and I would not recommend doing very large sessions. Now, of course, everyone wants to do a session at one point or another. I understand that. I have tried doing large sessions, but I always get bored out of my mind and stop. I would recommend, if you're going to do a large session, I cannot talk today. If you're going to do a large session, make sure that you don't race too much the days after, because you could potentially injure yourself. And that's basically it for improving. Just focus on accuracy, only do the amount of races you feel like doing, don't race select, and don't do huge sessions. It's not going to help you. So I hope you found this short video helpful. We are getting near 50 subscribers. We actually lost a subscriber, or maybe two, I don't remember. I don't check my studio every day, but when I do check my studio, I noticed that we had lost a few. So if you would consider subscribing, that would be great. Maybe like the video if you like the video. Of course, if you don't, then do dislike it, or if you don't want to dislike it, let me know in the comments what you liked, what you didn't like, what I should change in the future. Of course, make sure to share this with your friends if you think any of your friends would get any value out of this. Stay healthy, stay safe, and I will see you all in the next video.